Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Ron Howard, a lifetime in storytelling. Few figures in Hollywood have worn as many hats, or worn them as gracefully, as Ron Howard. From his early days as a beloved child actor to his evolution into an Academy Award-winning director, Howard has built a career defined by consistency, craftsmanship, and a deep respect for the art of storytelling. From child star to household name, born in Duncan, Oklahoma, and raised in a family of performers, Ron Howard entered the world of entertainment almost before he could read. His breakout role came at age 6 as Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show, where his earnest charm made him one of America's most recognizable young faces. Later, as the clean-cut, all-American Richie Cunningham on Happy Days, Howard became a symbol of nostalgic optimism. Yet even during his acting years, Howard's ambitions were already behind the camera. By the time he left Happy Days in the late 1970s, he was ready to transition fully into directing, a move that would usher in the most defining phase of his career. A director with remarkable range, Ron Howard's directing career is notable not just for its longevity, but for its breadth. He has shown a rare ability to move between genres with ease, delivering heartfelt drama, gripping thrillers, and crowd-pleasing comedies. His early successes included movies like Splash, 1984, a romantic comedy that launched a young Tom Hanks into stardom, and Cocoon, 1985, a sci-fi drama that proved Howard could handle big ideas and big emotions. The 1990s and 2000s brought some of Howard's most acclaimed work. Apollo 13, 1995, earned praise for its technical precision and emotional depth, anchored by Howard's dedication to realism and heroic human storytelling. In 2001, he won the Academy Award for Best Director for A Beautiful Mind, a sensitive yet gripping portrait of mathematician John Nash, which also earned Best Picture. Howard continued to explore new territory with the Da Vinci Code trilogy, Frost, Nixon, Rush, and Solo, a Star Wars story, showcasing his ability to take on everything from historical drama to action spectacle. A legacy of collaboration and craft. While Howard is praised for his technical skill, he is equally admired for his collaborative spirit. Actors frequently describe him as calm, focused, and deeply supportive, a director who understands performance from the inside. His longtime partnership with producer Brian Grazer, under their company Imagine Entertainment, has produced not only films but also groundbreaking television series, including Arrested Development, Friday Night Lights, and Genius. Howard's influence on the modern entertainment landscape extends far beyond the projects he personally directs. The storyteller at heart. What unites Howard's diverse body of work is a love for human stories, told with clarity, compassion, and optimism. Whether portraying the heroism of astronauts, the genius of mathematicians, or the humor of everyday life, Howard approaches each project with sincerity and meticulous craft. Even after decades in the industry, Ron Howard remains one of Hollywood's most reliable and respected storytellers. He has grown from a charismatic on-screen presence into a director whose films have touched millions. And through it all, his work continues to remind audiences of the power of perseverance, curiosity, and heartfelt storytelling. Ron Howard, a lifetime in storytelling and cinematic excellence. Ron Howard's journey from child actor to one of America's most respected filmmakers is one of the most remarkable evolutions in Hollywood history. Over more than 6 decades, he has built a body of work that spans genres, mediums, and generations. His career is a testament not only to talent, but to a relentless curiosity and a deep love of storytelling. Early beginnings. Shaped by a family of artists, Ronald William Howard was born on March 1, 1954, into a family already immersed in show business. His father, Rance Howard, was an actor and writer. His mother, Jean Spiegel Howard, was an actress. Their careers and encouragement created a creative environment that made acting feel like a natural part of life. At only 18 months old, Howard appeared in his first film, Frontier Woman, 1956. But it was at age 6, when he was cast as Opie Taylor in The Andy Griffith Show, that his career began in earnest. His gentle charm, expressive sincerity, and natural comedic timing made Opie one of television's most beloved child characters. After The Andy Griffith Show, Howard continued to work steadily, including in The Music Man, 1962, and The Courtship of Eddie's Father, 1963. Unlike many child actors, he successfully transitioned to teenage roles, culminating in his iconic portrayal of Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. I Want to Direct, the turning point. Even while acting, Howard felt an early pull toward directing. As a teenager, he began experimenting with short films, often using 8mm cameras and enlisting friends as actors. His break came when producer Roger Corman agreed to let Howard star in Eat My Dust, on the condition that he also be allowed to direct his own film later. This became Grand Theft Auto, 1977, his feature directorial debut. Despite his youth, Howard demonstrated a remarkable instinct for pacing, character, and humor. The film's success proved he had far more to offer behind the camera than many had expected. Leaving Happy Days to focus on directing was risky, but ultimately transformative. A director with extraordinary versatility. One of the most striking aspects of Howard's career is his ability to move seamlessly across genres, a trait few directors master. Comedy and light-hearted fantasy Splash, 1984, became a box office hit and helped launch Tom Hanks's career. Parenthood, 1989, blended heart and humor, becoming a beloved ensemble comedy and later inspiring a TV adaptation. Science fiction and adventure. Howard's approach to sci-fi often grounds the fantastical in emotional truth. Cocoon, 1985, combined extraterrestrial mystery with a touching story about aging. Willow, 1988, became a cult fantasy classic. Historical and biographical drama. These films highlight Howard's precision, empathy, and talent for translating complex real events into compelling narratives. Apollo 13, 1995, earned critical acclaim for its realism and suspense. A Beautiful Mind, 2001, won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director. Cinderella Man, 2005, told the inspiring story of boxer James J. Braddock. Rush, 2013, offered a stylish, kinetic portrayal of the rivalry between Formula One legends James Hunt and Niki Lauda. Thriller and blockbuster. Howard also tackled high-profile, effects-driven projects. The Da Vinci Code, 2006, and its sequels became global hits. Solo, a Star Wars story, 2018, showcased his ability to step into a massive franchise under pressure and deliver. Imagine Entertainment, building stories beyond the director's chair. In 1986, Howard co-founded Imagine Entertainment with Brian Grazer. Together, they built a powerhouse production company that has reshaped American film and television. Imagine has produced Apollo 13, Arrested Development, Friday Night Lights, 8 Mile, A Beautiful Mind, Genius, The Dilemma, The Beatles, 8 Days a Week, The Touring Years. Howard's acclaimed documentary. This venture has allowed Howard to champion other storytellers, nurture innovative projects, and influence the industry far beyond his own directing work. Ron Howard, the collaborator. Howard is widely regarded as one of Hollywood's most actor-friendly directors. His calm, gentle demeanor on set is legendary. He credits his own acting background for helping him understand performance from both sides of the lens. Tom Hanks, who has worked with Howard many times, has described him as a benevolent, encouraging presence, someone who brings out your best without ever raising his voice. His sets are known for meticulous planning, a low-stress environment, a focus on character and emotional clarity, respect for actors and crew alike. This atmosphere has attracted talent across generations. From Russell Crowe and Cate Blanchett to Paul Giamatti and Chris Hemsworth. Documentaries, a new era of exploration. In recent years, Howard has embraced documentary filmmaking with the same curiosity he brings to fiction. His projects include The Beatles, 8 Days a Week, 2016, Pavarotti, 2019, Rebuilding Paradise, 2020, a moving chronicle of the California wildfire aftermath, We Feed People, 2022. Following Chef Jose Andres' humanitarian work, these works show Howard's growing interest in real-world stories of resilience, creativity, and community. A lasting legacy. Ron Howard's legacy is built on longevity, versatility, and kindness, rare qualities in a notoriously difficult industry. He has never been defined by trends, scandals, or ego, but by an enduring commitment to craft and a belief that stories can illuminate the human experience. His contributions have shaped not only contemporary filmmaking but the cultural memories of entire generations. From Opie to Oscar winner, from sitcom icon to master director, Howard embodies a Hollywood ideal, a storyteller who has grown alongside his audience, always evolving, always curious, and with no signs of slowing down. Ron Howard continues to inspire through each new chapter of his remarkable career. Ron Howard, the relentless evolution of an American storyteller for more than 6 decades. Ron Howard has remained a rare constant in Hollywood, a figure who has continuously adapted, refined, and expanded his artistic identity. Actor, director, producer, narrator, mentor, studio co-founder, documentarian. Howard's list of roles reflects a career built not on reinvention, but on steady, forward motion. He represents a unique brand of filmmaker, one who prioritizes clarity, emotional truth, and craftsmanship over stylistic showmanship. And yet, throughout his long career, he has shaped modern entertainment in ways more influential and far-reaching than many flashier directors. Childhood and early career. A natural in front of the camera. Ron Howard's early success wasn't a fluke. It grew from a combination of natural instinct and a deeply encouraging creative home. Unlike many child actors who struggle with the pressures of fame, Howard grew up surrounded by grounded, working artists who modeled professionalism and humility. The Andy Griffith years. Howard's relationship with Andy Griffith became one of the defining mentorships of his life. Griffith treated young Ron not as a novelty but as a collaborator. Howard has often recalled that Griffith respected his ideas, even at age 6. Andy always made me feel like I belonged there. This atmosphere helped cultivate Howard's confidence, not just as an actor, but as a thinker and storyteller. A gift for understanding emotion. Directors working with Howard noticed early on that he had an unusually intuitive grasp of emotion and timing. He could take direction quickly, interpret complex feelings, and deliver remarkably natural performances, skills he would later draw upon as a director. The leap to directing. Determination and strategy. Unlike many actors who drift into directing, Howard's move was deliberate, strategic, and driven by ambition. Throughout his teens and 20s, he filmed amateur projects, observed directors on set, and studied the mechanics of production. He also attended film school at USC briefly, though experience ultimately became his best education. Grand Theft Auto, 1977. The first break Roger Corman's deal, a role in exchange for a chance to direct, was more than a stepping stone. Howard had to prove he could. Work fast, work cheap, work creatively. Corman was impressed. Industry executives took notice. Howard was no longer just a former child star, he was a serious filmmaker in the making. Directorial philosophy: character first, spectacle second. While Ron Howard is known for films with grand scope, Apollo 13, The Da Vinci Code, Rush, his directorial philosophy places character and emotional clarity at the center. Key traits of Howard's style: invisible technique. Howard avoids calling attention to the camera, letting story and performance shine. Humanistic tone. His films often highlight resilience, creativity, or teamwork. Emotional honesty. Howard avoids cynicism, preferring sincerity over irony. Collaborative leadership. Sets are calm, efficient, and actor-friendly. These qualities have made him a favorite among performers and crew members alike. The 1980s. Establishing himself, the 1980s marked the beginning of Howard's ascent into the top tier of Hollywood directors. Splash, 1984, a playful romantic fantasy that became a major box office hit. Splash showcased Howard's agility with comedy and earned an Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay. Cocoon, 1985, a science fiction drama about aging, loneliness, and renewal. Cocoon is one of Howard's earliest examples of blending spectacle with heartfelt storytelling. Parenthood, 1989. A sensitive, ensemble family comedy drama, Parenthood was a breakthrough in audience connection and emotional nuance. Its success underscored Howard's ability to make stories feel universal. The 1990s, prestige and mastery. The 1990s elevated Howard to the top ranks of American directors. Backdraft, 1991, a gritty drama about Chicago firefighters. The film's intense, practical fire sequences became iconic and demonstrated Howard's ability to handle physical filmmaking. Apollo 13, 1995, widely regarded as one of the most accurate and riveting space films ever made. Apollo 13 earned 9 Oscar nominations. Howard's commitment to authenticity, including filming inside NASA's zero-gravity KC-135 aircraft, set a new standard for realism. Its most famous line, "Houston, we have a problem," became synonymous with crisis management. The 2000s, awards, global hits, and cultural influence. A Beautiful Mind, 2001, Howard's deeply human portrait of John Nash earned 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Howard, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Supporting Actress. The film showed Howard's ability to handle complex, sensitive material with nuance and empathy. The Da Vinci Code, 2006, and sequels. Though divisive among critics, the trilogy was a massive commercial success, grossing over $1 billion globally. It confirmed Howard's status as a reliable blockbuster director. Frost, Nixon, 2008, a taut political drama adapted from the stage play. This film earned 5 Oscar nominations and showcased Howard's strength with dialogue-driven storytelling. The 2010s and beyond. Reinvention through documentaries and diverse projects. Rush, 2013. Stylish, kinetic, and emotionally rich, Rush is considered one of Howard's best later career films. It elevated Formula One storytelling to new cinematic heights. Solo, a Star Wars story, 2018, stepping into a troubled production. Howard stabilized the film and delivered a solid entry into the Star Wars franchise, an example of his reliability under pressure. A new era in documentary filmmaking. Howard has become one of Hollywood's most prominent documentarians, exploring subjects ranging from iconic musicians, the Beatles, Pavarotti, to social issues, rebuilding paradise, we feed people. Imagine Entertainment, Howard's larger legacy founded with Brian Grazer. Imagine Entertainment is one of the most influential production companies of the last 40 years. It has produced award-winning films, prestige documentaries, hit television shows, innovative streaming projects. Howard's role as co-founder and creative guide has multiplied his impact across the entire industry. Ron Howard today, mentor and multi-platform creator. In recent years, Howard has embraced streaming series, animation projects, documentaries, socially conscious films, podcasts, masterclasses, and educational talks. He remains deeply involved in mentoring young filmmakers and supporting diverse creative voices. Why Ron Howard matters. Ron Howard's legacy is defined by consistency, empathy, craftsmanship, humility, a lifelong devotion to storytelling. He has never been the most avant-garde or controversial filmmaker. Instead, he has built a career on reliability, emotional honesty, and respect for the material. In an industry often driven by ego and spectacle, Howard's quiet dedication stands out. Few careers in Hollywood have been as steady, impactful, and respected. And remarkably, he's still evolving. Ron Howard, a deepening legacy in Hollywood's past, present, and future. Extended continuation. Ron Howard's career is so vast, so interwoven with the fabric of American film and television, that even long-form features often struggle to capture its full scope. To understand Howard's significance, one must look not only at his filmography, but also at his ethos, his leadership, his influence on industry culture, and the personal values that have guided him through decades of change. Below is an expanded exploration of his life and work. The Howard family. A creative ecosystem. Creativity runs through the Howard family like a shared language. Parents as creative role models. Rance Howard, Ron's father, was a character actor whose steady, humble dedication to craft left a lasting impression. Jean Spiegel Howard, his mother, brought warmth and emotional intuition to her acting roles. Ron often mentions that his parents were not dazzled by fame. They saw acting as a craft, a job, a discipline. This attitude helped Ron avoid the pitfalls that derail many child actors. Fame, to the Howards, was incidental. What mattered was good work. Sibling collaboration. Ron's brother, actor Clint Howard, grew into a prolific performer known for unique, memorable roles. The brothers have collaborated frequently, with Clint appearing in many of Ron's films. This environment not only shaped Ron's childhood but cultivated a lifelong appreciation for ensemble effort, a theme that echoes through his directing style. Howard's transition era. Navigating Hollywood's changing landscape, leaving acting behind in the late 1970s, Howard entered directing at a time when Hollywood was shifting rapidly. Jaws and Star Wars had introduced the blockbuster era. Independent filmmakers were rising. Studios were experimenting, failing, retooling. Howard positioned himself uniquely. A filmmaker who understood mainstream audiences but avoided formulaic storytelling. His early directorial choices reveal several commitments that would guide his entire career. 1. Character over spectacle. Even his high-concept films are grounded in human experience. 2. Collaboration over ego. Howard's sets have no room for temperamental behavior. 3. Universal themes. Family, teamwork, resilience, curiosity, hope. These appear throughout his work. 4. Accessibility. Howard's films are rarely elitist or alienating. He believes stories should welcome audiences in, not push them out. In a Hollywood often dominated by flash and cynicism, Howard established himself as one of the industry's leading humanists. Deep dive. Directing style and cinematic identity. Ron Howard is sometimes described as a classical or invisible filmmaker, one whose style serves the material rather than imposing itself upon it. But a closer look reveals distinct signatures. 1. Emotional clarity. Howard strips scenes down to their emotional essence. He avoids dense symbolism or intellectual distractions unless the story demands it. 2. Precision and research. For Apollo 13, Howard studied NASA archives, consulted astronauts daily, filmed actual zero-gravity sequences, rebuilt command module interiors. Precisely this meticulousness extends to films like Rush, Cinderella Man, Frost, Nixon, and A Beautiful Mind. 3. Ensemble symmetry. Howard excels at balancing large casts. Think Parenthood, Apollo 13, the paper backdraft, Cinderella Man, the Da Vinci Code series. He ensures every character supports the emotional arc. 4. Hope without sentimentality. Howard avoids darkness for darkness's sake, but he never ignores struggle. His optimism is grounded, not naive. The 2000s to 2010s. Reinforcing a legacy. After winning the Oscar for A Beautiful Mind, Howard faced a challenge. How do you follow up your greatest success? He answered the question by leaning into diversity. Historical dramas. Cinderella Man, 2005, Frost, Nixon, 2008, blockbusters. The Da Vinci Code, 2006, Angels and Demons, 2009, Inferno, 2016, genre experiments. Rush, 2013, In the Heart of the Sea, 2015. Franchise rescue. Solo, A Star Wars Story, 2018. These choices demonstrate Howard's flexibility and fearlessness. He doesn't seek a brand, he seeks challenges. Ron Howard, the documentarian. Curiosity in nonfiction. Howard's turn to documentary filmmaking in the 2010s added a new dimension to his legacy. His documentaries share key qualities: humanistic focus, respect for legacy, inspirational themes, clear narrative structure. The Beatles, 8 days a week, explored the band's touring years and humanized cultural icons. Pavarotti celebrated the global impact of a singular voice. Rebuilding Paradise, a raw, unblinking look at the aftermath of wildfire tragedy. We Feed People spotlighted Jose Andres' humanitarian food relief efforts. Howard's documentaries show a desire to explore real-world heroism, creativity, and endurance, themes deeply embedded in his narrative films. Howard as producer. The power of Imagine Entertainment. Imagine Entertainment has produced some of the most influential works of the past 4 decades. Its range includes A Beautiful Mind, Friday Night Lights, Arrested Development, The Grinch, 2000, Hillbilly Elegy, Howard as director, Genius, TV anthology. The company is known for risk-taking concepts, strong character-centered scripts, nurturing rather than exploiting creative talent. Howard's influence permeates everything Imagine produces, even when he isn't directing. Ron Howard's leadership philosophy. Howard's leadership is legendary in Hollywood. Many describe him as unflappable. He rarely gets upset. Respectful, he treats all crew levels with equal courtesy. Prepared, he enters every set with a detailed plan. Empathetic, he ensures actors feel safe experimenting. Collaborative, he invites team input without losing control. This leadership style has created an industry reputation few can match. Howard's cultural impact. Ron Howard has shaped American culture in ways that go beyond filmmaking. 1. 3 generations know him differently. Baby boomers, Opie Taylor, Gen X, Richie Cunningham, millennials and Gen Z. Director, producer of major films and series. 2. Uplifting stories in cynical times. Howard's filmography often counters the darker trends in cinema with stories of courage, empathy, and resilience. 3. Championing creative voices through Imagine. Howard has helped launch the careers of writers, directors, and actors across decades. 4. A model for child actors. Howard stands as an example of how early fame can lead to a healthy, successful adult career, rare in the entertainment world. Ron Howard today and tomorrow. Now in his 70s, Howard remains active, curious, and creatively energized. He continues to direct features, documentaries, and series while mentoring young filmmakers and advocating for industry education. His daughters, including actress and director Bryce Dallas Howard, continue the artistic lineage. Bryce's own directing career reflects Ron's influence, disciplined, character-driven, and emotionally rich. Ron Howard's story is still unfolding. Conclusion. A life devoted to storytelling. Ron Howard's legacy is not defined by a single genre, signature, or cinematic revolution. Instead, it is defined by consistency, craftsmanship, kindness, curiosity, humanity. Howard's work, spanning from black and white television to modern streaming platforms, forms a vast mosaic of American storytelling. His contribution is not merely in the films he has made, but in the example he has set, a life in the arts guided by integrity, humility, and joy. Few filmmakers in history have built a body of work so broad, so steady, and so deeply human. Ron Howard hasn't just grown with Hollywood, he has helped shape it. Ron Howard, expanding the legacy of a Hollywood craftsman. Further extended edition. Ron Howard's story is not just a tale of personal success, it is a parallel history of Hollywood itself. As the industry evolved from studio-controlled television in the 1960s to the global streaming ecosystem of the 2020s, Howard evolved with it. To study his life and work is to study the shifting tides of American entertainment. Howard's balancing act, art versus audience. One of Ron Howard's most enduring achievements is his ability to strike the delicate balance between artistic ambition and broad audience appeal. A mainstream filmmaker without being formulaic. Howard is often described as a mainstream filmmaker, but this label does not do justice to the emotional nuance and thematic depth in his work. Unlike many mainstream directors, Howard avoids cheap sentimentality, excessive melodrama, transparent manipulation, reliance on bombastic spectacle even when working in commercially driven genres. Howard's touch remains honest and grounded. Audience trust. Howard has built trust with audiences over decades. People know that a Ron Howard film, whether drama, comedy, documentary, or thriller, will be clear, well-constructed, human, respectful of their intelligence. This trust is rare in modern cinema. Chapter. The actor-director insight. Howard's background as an actor deeply informs his work as a director. Understanding performance. Having spent his childhood under the pressure of performing, Howard possesses a rare sensitivity to the needs and vulnerabilities of actors. He knows how to give clear, actionable notes, how to build trust, when to push, when to step back. Many actors say they feel safe on Howard's sets, confident that he will not let them fail. Famous actor testaments. Tom Hanks. Ron gives you guidance without ever making you feel directed. He's a collaborator, not a commander. Cate Blanchett. He understands actors better than almost anyone. Michael Keaton. From The Paper. He gives you freedom but keeps the rails up so you don't fall off. This unique balance of structure and openness is a direct result of Howard's early acting life. Behind the scenes. Howard's on-set reputation. Howard's working environment contrasts sharply with the volatile, ego-driven stereotypes of Hollywood directors. Calm under pressure. Whether directing complicated zero-gravity sequences or managing studio expectations on a franchise film, Howard is known for keeping an even temperament. Crew members often note, "He never yells, he never panics, he never belittles, he solves problems methodically." This emotional stability has likely been a key to his longevity. Thorough preparation. Every Howard production begins with detailed storyboards, shot breakdowns, clear blocking plans, weeks of research, extensive rehearsals. This allows for smooth execution even on fast-paced schedules. Respect across all departments. Howard has cultivated a reputation as a true collaborator with cinematographers, editors, production designers, composers, sound teams, special effects artists. His sense of gratitude for crew labor is well known. He is often seen thanking team members personally. Ron Howard, an American myth-making. Howard has played a central role in shaping how America sees itself. Heroism and resilience. Films like Apollo 13, Cinderella Man, Rush Backdraft celebrate everyday heroism, teamwork, and courage. The underdog spirit. Howard gravitates toward stories of perseverance. John Nash in A Beautiful Mind, Jim Braddock in Cinderella Man, Formula One drivers overcoming adversity in Rush. This focus on resilience resonates deeply with U.S. cultural ideals. Humanizing icons through documentaries like Pavarotti and the Beatles. 8 Days a Week, Howard reveals the humanity behind fame. A counter to cynicism in decades dominated by gritty anti-heroes and dark satire, Howard's sincere approach offers a refreshing counterpoint. Chapter: Mentorship and Influence. Ron Howard's influence extends far beyond his own work. Mentoring young directors. Howard is known for giving guidance to emerging filmmakers. His mentorship is not about lectures, it's about listening and giving practical advice. Key lessons he often shares: prepare relentlessly, cast well, then support your actors, respect your crew. The story is the compass, always. He has mentored or encouraged numerous rising directors, including some who have grown into major voices of their own. Family legacy. The next generation of storytellers. Ron and his wife Cheryl have 4 children, all creatives in their own right. The most well-known is Bryce Dallas Howard, a successful actress and rapidly ascending director. Bryce has directed episodes of The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, feature films and documentaries. Her directing style, precise, character-driven, morally grounded, echoes many of her father's sensibilities. Though she brings her own visual flair, Ron often praises Bryce's talent, insisting she has surpassed him in some areas. Howard's relationship with technology. Though often associated with traditional filmmaking, Ron Howard is surprisingly tech-forward. Embracing CGI and VFX, he has worked extensively with visual effects-driven stories, Willow, early digital effects, The Grinch, The Da Vinci Code series, Solo, a Star Wars story, virtual production. Howard has embraced modern digital workflows and virtual production techniques for both narrative films and documentaries. Yet, despite this, he always insists that technology is secondary. Tools matter, but heart matters more. Howard's work ethic, the engine behind longevity. Unlike many directors who slow down over time, Howard remains remarkably prolific. What drives his productivity? Genuine fascination with people, love of problem-solving, curiosity about the world, a grounded, stable personal life, enjoyment of collaboration. He has described himself not as a genius, but as a worker who loves the work. This humility is part of his enduring appeal. Awards and recognition. A record of consistent achievement. Ron Howard's accolades span decades and disciplines. Academy Awards: Best Director, A Beautiful Mind; Best Picture, as producer, A Beautiful Mind; Golden Globes: Best Director; Special Awards for Career Achievement; Emmys; multiple wins through Imagine Entertainment's TV productions. Lifetime Achievement honors. Numerous organizations have honored Howard for his contributions to film and television. Yet Howard often says awards are bonus moments, not goals. The Ron Howard paradox. Critics often note an interesting paradox in Howard's career. He is extremely successful, yet never considered trendy. He is a household name, yet not flamboyant. He tells big stories, yet with quiet sensibility. He is a mainstream director with an independent filmmaker's humility. He is famous but not a celebrity in the traditional sense. This paradox is part of what makes him so enduring. The future. Ron Howard's ongoing role in cinema. As Howard continues into the next phase of his career, he is focusing more on documentaries, streaming series, educating and mentoring young filmmakers, creating content with global themes, supporting Bryce Dallas Howard's flourishing directing path. His influence, already significant, is poised to expand further. Final reflection. A life made of stories. Ron Howard stands as one of the few artists who have successfully navigated the golden age of television, the rise of blockbuster cinema, the prestige boom of the 1990s, the global franchise era, the shift to streaming, the new age of documentary storytelling. His life is a testament to the power of curiosity, humility, and steady growth. He is not only a filmmaker, he is a chronicler of human experience, a collaborator, a mentor, and a cultural shaper. Very few filmmakers have remained relevant for as long, across as many mediums, with as much grace. Ron Howard has spent his entire life telling stories. And the story of Ron Howard himself is one of Hollywood's greatest. Ron Howard. Deep continuation of a life in cinema. Even further expanded edition. Ron Howard's story is remarkable not simply because of its length, but because of its dimension. Few artists have lived inside as many eras, formats, and philosophies of filmmaking.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.